Voy a hacer la primera pregunta, entonces me voy a tomar la libertad ya que estamos aquí. Let's go back to hate speech, because there is a debate among scholars even if that is covered or not by the American Constitution. Hate speech. What should we understand by hate speech, and why is it covered by free speech under the Constitution or any free society framework, basically?
Well, the First Amendment of the US Constitution is pretty explicit that Congress cannot limit speech, or for that matter, the freedom of worship. The courts have been called on repeatedly to rule on this issue. So there's a substantial body of US law, as some of you may know, that establishes what is not allowed. There were times, most obviously in time of war, when the First Amendment rights of citizens were significantly limited, too much. In the McCarthy era, in the period of maximum anxiety about Soviet or communist infiltration of the US system, there were many violations of people's constitutional rights, but subsequently the courts pushed back those infringements and established a pretty clear rule. You cannot use the right of free speech to incite acts of violence. If hate speech is to have any meaning, and I don't like the term, it must be that free speech cannot be used to call for the death of an individual or group. And when, for example, my wife is threatened online, which happens all too often, and an explicit death threat is made, I have no hesitation in notifying the FBI. So I think that's the rule. I think the courts have been very consistent on this issue for many years. The problem is the argument made by so-called progressives, who are anything but progressive, on campuses, that that's not sufficient. And there needs to be a broader definition of hate speech, which essentially includes anything that anybody finds upsetting. And that use of the term seems to me extraordinarily harmful, not least at institutions that are supposed to be all about free inquiry.